Hey, good morning, and how are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing amazing. We're back with that free Harvard course we're taking online. Um, of course, it's Rhetoric, the art of persuasion and writing and oratory and stuff. It's a great course. So far, it is 5 a.m., so I'm just barely waking up and a little bit discombobulated. I, of course, did leave the link in the description below, so if you want to go and check out courses that you may want to check or take online, feel free to do so. I'm going to get a little bit more coffee in me because I actually realize as we click the go live button that I am not quite awake to the level I would like to be at all. Just going to be honest with you. So we're all the way to Module 6, Presidential Rhetoric. By the end of this module, you will be able to do the following. Discuss how the audience and the desired tone for a speech can influence diction, word choice. Compare the effect of using passive and active voice, and evaluate the choices of personal pronouns I versus we, for example, in a speech. Discuss the effectiveness of symbolism in writing and speech. Define the hyperbole. Oh, what is this? Anti-metabole? Holy crap, I have no idea what this even means. So we're going to Google that one. And the polysyndentons. I don't know what, I know what polysyndenton is because of this course, of course. I've never used it outside of that, but okay. Ooh, how do we even say that? Metabole? Anti-metabole is a rhetorical device that involves repeating words or phrases in reverse grammatical order. Okay, it is a form of chiasmus. Okay, where the second half of expression mirrors the first half, but with an element in reverse order. This creates a balance of often memorable phrases or sentences. Okay, I no idea about this, but okay. For example, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you could do for your country. Okay, okay. I mean, like, good to know, I guess, right? Let me get chat up. I almost forgot to do that this morning. Sorry about that. And we'll move forward. Okay, we've found chat. That's always a good sign. When you're discombobulated in the morning, sometimes it's rough, guys. I'll have my stuff together in a minute. Okay, I've officially got chat up. We've succeeded. Okay, describe techniques for connecting with your audience, including storytelling and drawing on shared experiences. Okay, valid. John F. Kennedy's inaugural address, first impressions. Sorry, I didn't read that up there. Read and annotate the text below. What words, phrases, and passages do you find most powerful and why? Enter your comments by highlighting segments of the text. Make at least 3 observations. Once you've entered the annotations, it will be saved automatically. If you hover over a highlighted segment, you will see the corresponding annotations. Be sure to scroll down with the annotation tool window to see the entire speech. If this is a link that goes to something where we're not just reading the PDF, we're going to watch the video. Okay.
Vice President Johnson, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chief Justice, President Eisenhower, Vice President Nixon, President Truman, Reverend clergy, fellow citizens. We observe today not a victory only a party, but a celebration of freedom, symbolizing an end as well as a beginning, signifying renewal as well as change. For I have sworn before you and Almighty God the same solemn oath our forebears prescribed nearly a century and 3/4 ago. The world
Ballad.
is very different now, for man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life. And yet the same revolutionary beliefs for which our forebears fought are still at issue around the globe. The belief that the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God. We dare not forget today that we are the heirs of that first revolution. Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century, tempered by war, disciplined by a hard and bitter peace, proud of our ancient heritage, and unwilling to witness or permit the slow undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always been committed and to which we are committed today at home and around the world.
Oh, it's 13 minutes long,
Let
fully.
every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty. This much we pledge and more. To those old allies whose cultural and spiritual origins we share, we pledge the loyalty of faithful friends.
We're going to give a like.
United, there is little we cannot do in a host of cooperative ventures. Divided, there is little we can do, for we dare not meet a powerful challenge at odds and split asunder. To those new states whom we welcome to the ranks of the free, we pledge our word that one form of colonial control shall not have passed away, merely to be replaced by a far more iron tyranny. We shall not always expect to find them supporting our view, but we shall always hope to find them strongly supporting their own freedom. And to remember that in the past, those who foolishly sought power by riding the back of the tiger ended up inside.
Huh. I've never heard that phrase before, but interesting.
To those people in the huts and villages of half the globe struggling to break the bonds of mass misery, we pledge our best efforts to help them help themselves. For whatever period is required, not because the communists may be doing it, not because we seek their votes, but because it is right. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich.
I honestly don't feel that we have an obligation to go around the world saving it.
We offer a special pledge
Like,
to convert our good words into good deeds, in a new alliance for progress, to assist free men and free governments in casting off the chains of poverty. But this peaceful revolution of hope cannot become the prey of hostile powers. let all our neighbors know that we shall join with them to oppose aggression or subversion anywhere in the Americas. And let every other power know that this hemisphere intends to remain the master of its own house.
He's such a freaking good speaker, and this is such a nice podium. I was just sitting here looking at the woodwork, thinking, man, that is freaking well done.
Best hope, in an age where the instruments of war have far outpaced the instruments of peace, we renew our pledge of support to prevent it from becoming merely a forum for invective, to strengthen its shield of the new and the weak, and to enlarge the area in which its writ may run. Finally, to those nations who would make themselves our adversary, we offer not a pledge, but a request that both sides begin anew the quest for peace. Before the dark powers of destruction, unleashed by science, engulf all humanity in planned or accidental self-destruction. We dare not tempt them with weakness, for only when our arms are sufficient beyond doubt can we be certain beyond doubt that they will never be employed.
He just pieced their superior firepower.
And powerful groups of nations take comfort from our present course. Both sides overburdened by the cost of modern weapons, both rightly alarmed by the steady spread of the deadly atom, yet both racing to alter that uncertain balance of terror that stays the hand of mankind's final war. So let us begin anew, remembering on both sides that civility is not a sign of weakness, and sincerity is always subject to proof. Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate.
The amount of one-liners and zingers he has in this speech is freaking awesome.
What problems unite us, instead of belaboring those problems which divide us. Let both sides, for the first time, formulate serious and precise proposals for the inspection and control of arms, and bring the absolute power to destroy other nations under the absolute control of all nations.
Don't believe that. I don't agree with that.
Let both sides seek to invoke the wonders of science instead of its terrors. Together,
That part I
let us
agree with.
explore the stars, conquer the deserts, eradicate disease, tap the ocean depth, and encourage the arts and commerce. Let both sides unite to heed in all corners of the earth the command of Isaiah to undo the heavy burdens and let the oppressed go free. And if a beachhead of cooperation may push back the jungle of suspicion, let both sides join in creating a new endeavor, not a new balance of power, but a new world of law, where the strong are just, and the weak secure, and the peace preserved. All this will not be finished in the first 100 days, nor will it be finished in the first 1,000 days, nor in the life of this administration, nor even perhaps in our lifetime on this planet. But let us begin.
Valid. Guy's an excellent
In your
speaker.
hands, my fellow citizens, more than mine, will rest the final success or failure of our course. Since this country was founded, each generation of Americans has been summoned to give testimony to its national loyalty. The graves of young Americans who answered sounded the call to service around the globe. Now the trumpet summons us again, not as a call to bear arms, though arms we need, not as a call to battle, though in battle we are, but a call to bear the burden of a long twilight struggle, year in and year out, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, a struggle against the common enemies of man, tyranny, poverty, disease, and war itself. Can we forge against these enemies a grand and global alliance, north and south, east and west, that can assure a more fruitful life for all mankind? Will you join in that historic effort? In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
I didn't know which speech that had came from. Like, it makes sense. Look how much she loves him. Like, she's just like...
Ask not what America will do for you.
And these dudes in the top hats,
for the freedom of man.
I didn't realize the top hat was still in by that time, but whatever, right? That's cool.
Finally, whether you are citizens of America or citizens of the world, ask of us here the same high standards of strength and sacrifice which we ask of you. With a good conscience, our only sure reward, with history the final judge of our deeds, let us go forth to lead the land we love, asking his blessing and his help, but knowing that here on earth, God's work must truly be our own.
Excellent speech. I mean, I don't 100% agree with it across the board on all the topics, but, you know, like, skill-wise, the guy's a freaking machine speaker. Like, that guy's awesome. I'm going to just be legit. I would have coffee with Kennedy. I mean, if he wouldn't have been eliminated by a big jerkhead that, well, I actually think that that's so complicated, just to be honest. Like, that's the one, like, and there's probably more than one, but out of all the conspiracy type things that there are out there, the Kennedy assassination is the one where I actually will give a little bit of, nah, something's not okay with that whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Taking a deep breath, let's dive into this. Let's get our key words. Man, I hope you guys are freaking rocking your day today. I'm not wanting to probably do a ton today, so we might just annotate this and be good with the day, to be honest. I need to really get a whole bunch of those lectures done. I was planning on getting 3 lectures listened to, like 3 hours listened to last night. I got 1. Yeah, I know, right? Okay. Inaugural address, January 20th, 1961, John F. Kennedy. We observe today not a victory of party, but a celebration of freedom, symbolizing an end as well as a beginning, signifying renewal as well as change. For I have sworn before you and Almighty God the same solemn oath our forebears prescribed nearly a century and 3/4 ago. Sorry about that. I was kind of having some hiccups and stuff going on or something. Okay, so that's the exordium. Okay, the world is very different now, for man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life. Honestly, this dichotomy between these two, I've like we're gonna annotate this. I don't use the word dichotomy very often. Okay. Okay. The invocation of imagery in this sentence is solid. It shows the dichotomy of power now in the hands of human society. The power to rid hunger or destroy life as we know it. Boom, we're going to click that. We're happy with that. Now let's try to grab some tricks in here, not just a hey, that was a solid drop there. That the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hands of God. I absolutely personally believe that this is a super important thing. Rhetoric wise, I get that it's not what we're looking for exactly, but legitimately, the concept that your rights descend from the state allows the state to then, if it is the one that gives your rights, take them away. If they are, though, God given rights, then they are not the states to give or take, but the states to protect. And so I believe that our rights are God given rights that are reinforced by the state's authority, type thing. We dare not forget today that we are the heirs of the first revolution. Let the word go forth from this time and place to friends and foes alike. The torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century, tempered by war. Okay, so this, where he keeps going and going, this is, and I'm double checking that this is a single sentence first before I do this. But this is that whole. Okay, let's look over this. Let me make sure. We dare not forget today, we are the heirs of that first revolution. Let the word go forth from this time and place. Okay, so I was going to cut too much of it. Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century, tempered by war, disciplined by a hand of and bitter peace, proud of our ancient heritage and unwilling to witness or permit the slow undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always been committed, and to which we are committed today at home and around the world. I believe that this technically does count as a polysyndeton, just to be honest. Okay, well, that is a polysyndeton. How am I spelling it wrong? Okay, well, whatever. We corrected it to whatever they say there. I'm trying to find out what I have different on where I wrote it down. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what I did wrong. Save. Boom. Okay, we've got a polysyndeton right there. To those old allies whose cultures and spirits or origins we share, we pledge the loyalty of faithful friends. United there is little. Wait, united there is little we cannot do. Okay, I apologize. United there is little we cannot do in a host of cooperative ventures. Divided there is little we can do. For we dare not meet a powerful challenge at odds or split asunder. Divided there is little we can do, for we dare not meet a powerful challenge at odds or split asunder. Okay. I don't like the wording that much, but I mean, it sounded good when he read it, obviously, because he did it well. To those new states whom we welcome to the ranks of the free, we pledge our word that one form of the colonial control shall not be passed away merely to be replaced by a far more iron tyranny. We shall not always expect to find them supporting our view, but we shall always hope to find them strongly supporting their own freedoms. And to remember that, in the past, those who foolishly sought power by riding the back of the tiger ended up inside. This metaphor right here is an excellent metaphor. Just gonna be honest. Of course, I'm gonna spell metaphor wrong. Imagery. Okay, so that was how easy we got three. Now we could grab another. I mean, like if we just read through this guy basically loaded the crap out of this. Here's the thing, though. We're gonna move forward because, in all honesty, I'm wanting to move forward and get this class knocked out. But for two, we know that we're going to read the professor's annotations and other class members' annotations. So let's get through this next section real quick. The speaker, John F. Kennedy, was born in Boston, Massachusetts in 1917. His father was Joseph Patrick Kennedy, a wealthy businessman whose friendship with Franklin D. Roosevelt would lead to several appointments to the federal government. Joseph sent his son to the prestigious Coate School. I don't know this school at all. A preparatory boarding school in Connecticut. Let's look this school up. Okay. So he really was just a trust fund baby type all the way. Well, this is pretty, you guys. Okay, so he went to a top notch boarding school. We get it. Cool. That looks like a nice school. Way nicer than the school I went to, I'm going to just be honest. There, John earned a reputation as a mischief maker. He was a mediocre student, especially in comparison to his more academically minded older brother, Joe Jr. John's teachers remembered him as intelligent but unwilling to apply himself to anything that did not interest him. He loved literature and poetry, particularly the poems of Robert Frost. Kennedy appeared to have developed his trademark charm early. Despite his lackluster academic performance, his classmates voted him most likely to succeed. He was to prove them prescient. In 1937, President Roosevelt named John Kennedy Sr. ambassador to Great Britain. Now at Harvard, John had continued to be an average student. A visit to his father in London, however, sharpened his focus. Kennedy realized the dire situation Europe was facing, and became more aware of and interested in politics and international affairs. He returned to Harvard with renewed focus. After graduating in 1940, Kennedy joined the U.S. Naval Reserve. During World War II, he commanded a torpedo boat in the South Pacific. His older brother, Joe Jr., also joined the Navy, which sent him to England as a part of a bomber squadron. The family had always expected Joe Jr. to be the one to go into politics. His death on a mission in 1944, one of many tragedies the Kennedy family would endure, brought that dream to an end. It now fell to his brother, John, to join the family business. In 1946, the people of Massachusetts elected Kennedy to the House of Representatives. In 1952, he went on to the Senate. In 1960, at 43 years of age, John F. Kennedy was elected President of the United States. Kennedy was not only the youngest, but also the first Catholic ever elected president. Some dismissed him due to his age and distrusted him due to his religion. This may be why he felt he had to show his strength, particularly in matters concerning the communist threat and relations with the Soviet Union. He had plenty of opportunities. Kennedy's presidency saw the continuation of the Vietnam War, the invasion of the Bay of Pigs, and the building of the Berlin Wall. Perhaps his greatest trial was the Cuban Missile Crisis, 13 days in October of 1962, that brought the world to the brink of nuclear war. Another major issue during Kennedy's time in office was civil rights. Initially, his relations with civil rights leaders were strained. The president feared protests were angering white people and would make it harder to pass legislation. Some activists felt he was not doing enough to aid their cause, but increasing violence in the South and the refusal of authorities in Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, and everywhere to designate their schools forced Kennedy, or to desegregate their schools, forced Kennedy to act. His administration drafted the legislation that would go on to become the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Kennedy did not live to see the bill's passage on November 22nd, 1963, in Dallas, Texas. Lee Harvey Oswald, and likely other people, it doesn't say that, but my opinion, shot and killed the president as he rode in his motorcade. An investigation determined that Oswald's allegiance to the communists was his primary motivation. Oswald had claimed his innocence before he himself was killed 2 days after the assassination. Over the years, historians and others have thoroughly scrutinized that day's events, some claim to have found inconsistencies in the assassination timeline. This contention has led to several conspiracy theories, none of which have been proven. Um, yeah, I'm not going to get into that. I believe that the conspiracies around the Kennedy assassination are valid as crap. Just, I mean, not all of them, but definitely this is the one super shady WTF. Doesn't make sense in American history. The speech, John F. Kennedy was intended on becoming a good orator, but the gift did not come naturally to him. He practiced endlessly. Though Ted Sorensen, his speechwriter, composed most of his speeches, Kennedy himself would revise and revise. He archived his archived documents show hundreds of changes made to early drafts. Kennedy began gathering ideas and working on his inaugural address as early as November of 1960. He had Sorensen's scour the Gettysburg Address and past inaugurals for inspiration and asked dozens of people for suggestions, including clergy whom he had asked for relevant Bible quotations. Like Martin Luther King Jr., Kennedy departed from the script during his delivery. In all, he made 32 more spontaneous changes. One of these resulted in the speech's most famous line: ask not what you can do for your country, but ask what you can do for your country. Not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to butcher that. Due in part to the enduring appeal, we often remember Kennedy's address as a call to public service and national unity. However, its content focused more on foreign policy than anything else in its reiteration of Kennedy's commitment to America's leadership and a pledge to halt the spread of communism. With the worst horrors of the Vietnam War yet to come, Kennedy expressed his hope for winning the goodwill of the world. Having just won one of the narrowest election victories in history, Kennedy also badly needed support at home. His speech had the desired effect. After his delivery, the newly minted president's approval ratings rose to nearly 75%. Oh, I don't know what it was beforehand. I mean, maybe that was a big deal. At 1366 words, at 1,366 words, Kennedy's speech is among the shortest inaugural addresses in history. It was also the first broadcast on television in color, drawing an at-home audience of 60 million. His was also the first inauguration ceremony to feature a poet. The 86-year-old Robert Frost, whom Kennedy had long admired, who recited his poem, The Gift, outright. The president's love of literature had finally resulted in the creation of his own great work, which generations will continue to admire for years to come. Okay, so honestly, to kind of keep it short today, and before we get into all this complicated, more, hey, we're about to annotate what we just annotated again, this is where we're going to end it for today. That'll actually make my day a little bit shorter and a lot easier, just to be honest. We're going to come in tomorrow and get all of this key terms and concepts area done, and we will fly all the way, hopefully, I don't know. We'll get a bunch done. That's what we can hope. I do want to thank you guys just for being epic. I hope you guys are having a great day on your own. And peace, very best wishes.